Evening all, welcome to a good old-fashioned stomp. Don't know why I called it that. I think there is a lot of stomping going on. I saw a post. I'm going to call out Marcellia Delt, dude. You're my bro, but stop it. He made a really good post on the forum about all the good players have left, and it's just a stomp now. Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree a little bit, but if anything, the game has got a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, a little bit less serious, dare I say. PC did this. Let me explain. Let me go back in time in our kind of wibbly-wobbly time machine effect. Way back in Chromosome, before PC was even a glint in the milkman's eye, the game was a lot less serious. People seemed to have a lot more fun with it. We used to do court battles, and court battles were just sort of like, I don't know, impromptu bits of fun for a little bit of ISK here and there. It was like just an open tournament wager kind of thing. And people took them seriously, don't get me wrong, but they were fun. People kind of understood that it was actually for fun. When you made it all of a sudden about flag capturing and taking territory from others, the sincerity of it went way up and people started to get a little bit too serious with it. Okay, so the enjoyment just went overnight almost. You could literally say overnight. Overnight, people just stopped having fun with this game, and it all of a sudden became a very personal attack on them. It was like Eve. Eve is exactly the same. When somebody attacks your little system in deep space, it's personal, okay? And I guess that is what happened, because all of a sudden, what was a very kind of friendly, slightly trolly but funny kind of group of people suddenly became incredibly competitive, to the point where they would just exploit any tactic that made them win. Any tactic. So, you know, the whole Caldari Logi assault, the whole, I don't know, the using modified controllers with scrambler rifles. I mean, the list goes on, seriously. And all of a sudden, that became what you had to do to win. And locking of districts. I mean, just all of the kind of bullshit mechanics were just brought out because you had to win. The only thing that mattered was winning. And I think that kind of killed the game a little bit from a kind of enjoyment point of view. People obviously had way too many kind of serious battles, and people started to get really angry if they were rushed. I mean, the whole bandwagoning thing came about because the vast majority of people have no identity themselves. People corp hop quite a bit. There's no real identity of the corps. All the corps are the same, for God's sake. There's not really any culture out there at all. All the corps just feel and look and act the same, just one group of entitled dickbags compared to the other. And what happened was, I mean, I give a few exceptions. Dust Union is a good example of a corp that does have a bit of an identity. The other one is obviously the Unholy Legion of Darkstar. We are the cool kids. We are the coolest people out there. We are cool, underline cool. I'm joking, of course. But we didn't have the kind of same level of seriousness as a lot of others did. And I think what generally started to happen was, as people kind of got, quote, stomped, they just jump around and they just go for whoever's winning. So if one particular corp is, you know, is winning everything at the moment, people just rushed to it, and it became a massive flocking bandwagon, which I have to be very careful how I say that because it could be quite rude. But in essence, that's what happened. And yeah, it's a shame in a way, because, you know, you just had massive migrating groups of players who just went from one, you know, corp who wins everything to the other corp who wins everything. And after a while, it got very dull indeed. Very dull. Oh, I just realised that was a Caldari scout. Oh well. It's a funny thing. I think sometimes you just have to accept that this game is very characterless generally. There is no real, I guess, identities between many of the groups. So, you know, what can you do? But there we go. You know, funny one, really. I think, you know, a lot of the time there is this kind of desire to, you know, to win. And that's why you play these games, is people do want to win. It's less about having fun, and it sometimes is more about having the victory. Now, that's a very alien thing to me. I'm not used to that kind of gameplay. I generally play games to relax. I know I keep saying this, and people think it's a troll. I promise you it's not. You don't want to win in a game. You want to win in real life. The real life bit's the more important bit here. Seriously, trust me, it really is. And it's like, I remember when I was super rich in Eve, like super rich, like mega multi-trillionaire rich, and I didn't have a pot to piss in real life. And that's why I, you know, sorted myself out and got a job and blah blah blah. And that's why I think that's where you should try and and compete. Okay, I'm not saying that obviously you can't have fun competing, but in this game, I think CCP they never understood that, and I think they must have got some kind of electronic sports league, douchebag dickheads to kind of advise them on this, because it just became about, right, doesn't matter, got to win no matter what. Ah, yeah, okay, but could we not have friendlies? Could you not do court battles? No, it's got to be win or nothing, because if you just play for friendly, then you're second. Literally they just went to the Wolf of Wall Street and said, right, what would you recommend? And he just said, win by any means, crush your enemy, no mercy. And quite frankly, they just made a massive game of entitled, overzealous dickbag douche lords who just, I don't know, when the game was then cancelled, or rather, mentioned that it might be cancelled, they raged and quit and biomassed. Lol. I still laugh at that. I still laugh at people biomassing. It's like, why would you do that? Anyway. I mean not to rage. I mean not to kind of take the piss. You know me. I don't troll. We don't troll here. Not around these parts. All right, maybe a little, but I think it's always been an interesting one that, quite frankly, the severity and the sincerity of the game just went up to an unfriendly and an unpleasant amount when court battles went and PC came in. And people got really, I know the metagaming piece was quite important, but the way that some people were was just, it's just like, I couldn't be arsed with it. The whole kind of, when somebody contacts you, who's a human being, because let's face it, there's no AI in this game. When somebody contacts you, sends you a chat request, and you open it, and you're like, all right, bro, what's up? All right, mate, how's it going? That's how I talk. When I go down the pub and see people, I say these words to them as well. Look at this strafing piece of shit. Seriously, I hate the strafers in this game. Seriously, whoever you are, go fuck yourself. I hate them. So anyway, you go down the pub, you meet someone, you're like, all right, bro, what's it going? How are you? How's things? How's the missus? You banged her yet? Whoa! That's kind of my life. But that's how adults talk to each other. Okay, not always. Sometimes it's more sophisticated. Often it's not. But whereas in this game, when PC started, we started capturing districts. People would contact me. They'd send me like chat requests. And it would be like, it'd be like a proper written out memo from work. And it'd be like, to CEO Pyrex, leader of the Darkstar Army. And I'd be like, code red. And then it would go on. Subject, and they'd actually typed all of this in, subject. Possible cease of hostilities between the Empire of fucking who cares what alliance versus Darkstar Army. And I'm like, and as I read this, just a chill goes down my spine, because it's like somebody's role-playing with me here and somebody's taking this a little too seriously. Anyway, it just went on like this, and it was just basically a group of people. They wanted to roleplay, and they thought that I would be a good candidate for this. So we got onto voice comms, and it just immediately turned me off, like you wouldn't believe, because the first thing they say was, "Oh, I'm Overlord Emperor Zarkon Dickface Blur," and I'm like, okay. And they tell me their real name. They tell me their game name as if it's their real name. And it's like, yeah, I'm the emperor of this alliance, and I just literally at this point I'm just cringing. I'm just like, oh. And it goes on to sort of say, my armies are about to do this, do that, and attack your district. We really want this planet. It means the world to us because of this reason. Blah blah blah. Would you consider a truce? Would you consider, let us work together and dispose of the foe of, I don't know, whoever it was, the third party that was on this planet? And I listened to all this, and it was this one exchange that I had right at the start of PC that just made me hate people in this game like you would never believe. Because I was just kind of like, bro, it's a game. Why are you talking? And I just started doing it. I was like, why are you talking like that? What's wrong with you? And it was just evident that he was like really into this. And then as soon as he said, "Oh, I play Eve as well," it was like, aha, that's why you're very fucking odd. And yeah, it just, the rest of the conversation went on. I could regale you with it, but you would not be interested, because it was just the most cringeworthy pile of shit conversation I've had in many, many years. I think the last time I had to discuss a venereal disease with my beloved was less difficult to do than this, in fact. So yeah, there you go. Interesting tidbit from PC. So that level of severity, in summary, was the reason why I think PC just turned me off completely. I mean, you know, I like the idea of it, I like the kind of style of it, but, you know, the bandwagons began, the kind of blocking of districts also kicked in. People all of a sudden just had no, I don't know, when certain people started coming into matches and declaring themselves more important than the person who was the squad leader because they have a KD of 50-3 or some God knows what bullshit. My immediate response to it all was, oh, this is a massive steaming pile of bollocky shite and that I just do not want to continue consuming from the bowl direct. And I was just like seriously, I don't want to do this anymore. It's so sad, and it just upset me really badly. We lost a lot as well. I mean, let me be clear. When I was running them, we won everything. We won everything, seriously, because we were just very organized, and we had some, you know, we still do have some incredibly good players. We had some real passionate players. But over time, we got out of it, and then we decided to give it another go. But I wasn't around, so we didn't have the best players. A lot of our players were AFK. They were in other corps at the time as well, and we just, you know, we kind of ballsed up our second attempt. But I mean, that hasn't put us off. I think, you know, one day, when probably in Legion, we will go for it, and we will just have to just put up with the bullshit. But I think in Legion it'll be a bit easier to swallow because it's just, I don't know, maybe it'll be a bit more. I want to say it'll be a bit easier, a bit more kind of less into it, but I'm thinking Eva's going to make it even more into it. We're going to have people who are just going to be so into this. They're just going to be sat there in like proper drop suit fatigues and setup, and they're just going to be sat there playing a game with little, I don't know, little face plates on. It's just going to make me cringe and want to kill myself. I am a cynical bastard by nature. That is part of being British. That is what we gave the world, for God's sake. We had an empire for the one reason that we wanted to be cynical, quite frankly. And cynicism is not a bad thing because it's a great check and measure to really say to somebody, dude, you're taking it too far. And I think certainly with what we experienced at PC, you know, in our battles we had with PC was just groups of people who really are way too much into it. And in the end, I think we're kind of making themselves, well, they were just doing their reputation no good at all. Having said that, we had some really good battles. The battles were fun, but then the slideshows happened. You know, we started to have problems just actually getting a match, and it always kind of seemed to be very selective. So obviously the mechanics were very, very, you know, poor. It did seem that the first one to get the most points before the lag waves hit you would win, and that was just utter shit. I did a video of it a long time ago, which was just abysmal. And I just think just generally it just became a bit of a waste of time, to be honest with you. I don't like saying that because I do think sometimes mechanics like PC are good, but just in this instance it was pretty bad. I think there's a lot of I don't know, bullshit around PC now. I think a lot of people very entitled. They think that they are somebody of note and importance, therefore they have the right to decide who does PC. They have the right to decide, you know, which corps are allowed to do it. They have they feel they have the right to decide and dictate the whole game to other people. And I think that's again just as infuriating as the role-playing dickheads. Because the last thing you want is some completely over-entitled dickhead telling you that, you know, you don't have the right to play PC, or you know, you're not skilled enough to play PC. I just think PC should have been the natural place where everybody goes after they've you know, leveled up to a particular level, and I think it should just be then PC. That should be what it is. And the fact that this never happened and we just had people constantly playing in pub matches funded by PC just killed the game. It just absolutely did. I mean, you know, quantifiably that is you know, is provable quite easily, because it just became an absolute clusterfuck for quite some time after you know, after the PC locking bullshit began. People then just stopped trying, and you know, PC became just a cash cow. CCP didn't act quick enough. The ISK is still on a lot of people's accounts. You know, I think people who've got all of this ISK that was created from Planetary Conquest, that should be removed. Otherwise you're just going to have people who just got so much money they're just going to literally change the game forever, proto stomping away, tank stomping away, and it'll never change. You'll never get better. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's a shame indeed. I would bring back court battles. I really would. Court battles to me were just the most fun part of the game, because sometimes you would fight and then sometimes you would just test and have fun and play around. I suspect they will never return. I think they're gone, and I don't think they'll ever come back, because it's just an admission that PC was a waste of time. And I think, you know, all of the fun we had with court battles, you know, doing dropship, I don't know, dropship jumping, and, you know, jumping over LAVs over dropships, and tank wrestling and stuff like that was so much fun. And I think CCP just did not understand their player base when they removed it. So there we go. Interesting stuff. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.